Let's talk about customizing this embedded web form because I'm curious as to what this looks like. And of course, you're using Follow Up Boss for it. We all have
Yeah,
Follow Up
exactly.
Boss. Take me through this, man. Where did the idea come from, and how are you using it?
So when I was working for the team in San Diego, I think the beer team has definitely passed them now. But at the time, they were the top selling team in San Diego, and they wanted me to. Are you familiar with CTE?
Yeah, I love
Uh,
CTE.
yeah, so they wanted me to set up CTE, and their process was, and this is at mind you, the top selling real estate team in San Diego, doing hundreds of transactions. Their process, when their ISA set an appointment, they wrote it all down on paper and then walked to the admin office and handed it to them. And then the admin team would enter the data into 3 different systems. And they wanted me to do, I think, a 4th system, which was CTE. And I was like, I could do a lot better than
So
that.
the manual integration. Are we talking like 1845, 18?
Right? Right? Yeah, that's what it seemed like. So, I told them, I could do a little better. They were at the time using an all-in-one platform. So I went and searched for the best real estate CRM that had a good API, and up came Follow Up Boss. So I got them to switch to Follow Up Boss and started building out like a forum system. We were actually building a platform similar to Sisu. We were building like a data tracking and analytics platform. And so then when I started this business, one of my clients introduced me to Sisu. And so I was like, you know what? Like, instead of having the integration platform myself, why don't I just build an integration between Follow Boss and Sisu? And that essentially accomplishes what we were trying to do before. And Sisu essentially sold us on it. They wanted a better Follow Boss integration at the time, and so that's what we built. And so now we've repurposed it to work just in Follow Boss because the forms can do a lot of cool stuff in Follow Boss. What we did for the beer team is we're using the forms to push data into Salesforce. And so that's what we're going to go through today, is how they're pushing it in Salesforce. And we've also Open to Close is the other platform that we've tied the forms to.
I love them, man.
Yeah.
All right, so show us what you got so we understand it.
Yeah, exactly. Laura, so take it away.
All right.
Thanks, Laura.
So we are new to Follow Boss. We spent years and a lot of money building out a very custom platform in Salesforce. Super cool because it allowed us to do our business the way we wanted to. But we realized last year that we were really being left behind when it came to lead management. There's nothing better than Follow Boss. So what we had to solve for is, how do we move over to Follow Boss for all of our agents so we never really have to leave it, yet not lose the data analytics, the dashboard, reporting, and then we do our listings and transactions in Salesforce. So wanted to make sure we were not going to lose that. And we started with just a regular integration, and it was super expensive, super messy, and just was going to be very difficult. And we got introduced to Daniel, and Daniel is the one who brought forms to us. And the super cool thing about the forms is it allowed us to keep Salesforce without the agents ever having to go into it. So our reporting is good, our dashboards are good. And when we built out Salesforce, we did it with a lot of field dependencies and validation rules that I can't replicate in Follow Boss, but Daniel could do it in the form. So this right here is test lead Bruce Wayne that we had here in Follow Boss. Real quick, I'm going to show you, this is what it looks like in Salesforce. The lead record. This is an integration where the lead gets created in Follow Boss, creates it right here in Salesforce. So basically what we do is when an appointment is set, this is when we first start using the forms. Just come down here in opportunities to add new.
Okay, got it.
Okay. And then we're going to select, is it a buyer or a seller?
Let's do a buyer, actually.
You want to do buyer, okay?
Yeah, let's do buyer.
And then hit the appointment set. So we use ISA, so we also have something called opportunity time that allows agents to set appointments for other agents. So Daniel built this out so we can select it in ISA, set the appointment, or did the agent set it for themselves? We'll send this an ISA. And then via a integration that Daniel's done, it's everybody that's in Salesforce is here in this dropdown. So I can select which ISA set the appointment. The appointment details, when is it going to happen? Tomorrow. Say it's at 9 in the morning. We'll say it's going to be at our office.
Okay.
And then the appointment type. It was an ISA if he sent a buyer consultation. Don't really need any of this because we're not going to the house that they're looking at. And then this is signed OSA. Who's the agent on your home team? That's going to go in this appointment. I hit submit. Super easy. And it is all that the agent has to do. And they're done as soon as they get this. Take a few minutes, but what we will do, and I'll show you here in a second, it's going to, Salesforce is not necessarily an easy CRM when it comes to the way you work leads and appointments. There's a conversion, which is a native functionality on Salesforce that Daniel had to solve for. Did a phenomenal job doing it because what happens is this lead and goes away and it creates 3 other records in Salesforce. Right down here, the account for contacting the opportunity. It does take usually about 2 minutes or so to update.
Let's actually start in Follow Boss because that automation happens sooner.
Wow, I love that.
Right.
So the note that gets added is everything that was entered into the form. Then you can see a deal gets created over on the right. Laura, can you highlight? Yeah. Then if you scroll up, there's a appointment that got created. And can you open that?
Ooh, I like that.
Just click. Oh no, yeah, not that. The point. Yeah. So the title can be anything you want the title to be. The description that can either be sent from the form or we can actually store templates. So for every lead type, like buyer, seller, and location combination, we can store a template, which will get automatically applied to the description, and that gets sent to the client. And so now you don't have to worry about agents writing. It makes it uniform. So for every office buyer appointment, you could have directions to your office or, whatever you want the message to be. The type, what was that?
That's easy, man. I'm also seeing at the very bottom where it says send updated email text reminder, which is great. So yeah, you fit all this in perfectly.
Yeah. And then you can see the location, the office address is in there, but didn't have to write out the address. We store the address in our system. So if they select office, we're going to automatically put the office address in. Type comes over and, we can add the ISA as an invitee. So pretty much anything on here can be triggered from the form, but with a lot less data entry. So yeah, let's close this down. And then so you can see tags were added. So we can dynamically add tags based on what was entered in the form. We updated the stage to appointment set. And assign the agent that was selected on the form. And then it looks like an action plan was also triggered. So virtually anything that needs to happen in Follow Boss when a form is submitted can be automated from the form. And the benefit is agents never are going to remember to do all this stuff.
So depending on what you fill out on the form, are you also setting into action the action plans as well? Because I'm noticing on the right. Okay.
Exactly.
So you've got the action plans, the tags, the stages, the appointments. And after that, it's up to who to manage this. Are we still going back to the agent, or have you set it up depending on who you have on your team, whether it's an ISA, OSA? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we'll get to that in the next step. Let's quickly go over to Salesforce, Laura, and show how. So we also have an integration with Sisu and open to close. So if those are the systems you're using, we can push data in there just like we did Salesforce. But here we converted the lead into a contact, an account, and an opportunity. And the opportunity is what aligns with Sisu and open to close. So, in Sisu it would be a transaction, and open to close it would be a property. Here it's an opportunity. And so we're generating it from the form. they don't have to enter like the contact info. We just pull it from Follow Boss and enter it into Salesforce. So that duplicate data entry isn't necessary. And Laura, you want to walk through what else is happening in here?
Yeah, so a few things. It will auto-populate agent as also being the one who's going to show the homes, because we also showing specialists. It can change that. The most important thing is going to be down here. Who gets credit for setting the appointment? And then when is the appointment, what type? So now we've replicated in Salesforce what we have in Follow Boss, but the agent never needs to go in and do anything here.
I like that. Great question here from the audience. Julianne says, is this going to be something that can be added to FUB, or does it all have to be created and get forms in Salesforce? What does this look like?
So you don't need Salesforce. It can be used with Salesforce, with Sisu, open and close, or just Follow Boss itself. We provide the forms, so you don't have to go out and get forms. And the long-term plan actually is we're going to build the forms into the embedded app itself. But right now they open into a separate window. So you don't need to go get forms or have Salesforce. You can use all of this within Follow Boss without, having to get another platform.
And Julianne, we'll go over the beta that Daniel is testing out at the end. So you can find out cost. I think he's going to talk about that at the end. We just want to know we just want to show the capabilities of what Follow Boss can do. That's the whole purpose.
Yeah. So this is a little different than the beta. So this is actually alive. You can get this right now. The beta test is another product we're building, and so we'll go over that once we go through this. But now getting back to your question, who manages it now? So the next step is so this tile gets created in the embedded app. And so this will bring us to the next form that needs to get filled out, which says what happened on the appointment. But possibly one of the best features of our system is you don't need to get the form from the embedded app. We send this link to the agent 2 hours after the appointment is scheduled to begin. So the agent that's assigned to the appointment just receives a text with a link. They click on the link and it opens this form. And then when they fill it out, it's going to update Follow Boss. And if you're using Sisu, it'll update Sisu. If you're using open to close, it'll update open to close. Well, open to close, it's more for later in the process. So this isn't really relevant to open to close, but for Salesforce, it'll update Salesforce. And if an agent has like 3 or 4 appointments in a day, they're not going to go back into Follow Boss until the end of the day. They're going to go from one appointment to the next appointment. And so this allows them to actually update it in real time while the info is still fresh in their mind, without having to log in to Follow Boss or, the other platforms you're using.
You're simplifying with these forms, Dan. Question from Camille. Can we update the forms with our own fields or?
Yep. Fully customizable.
I like it. I mean, I'd probably throw one in there, Camille, that says, "Are you happy right now?" And be like, "Yes, I'm happy." It's perfect. Perfect to have in there.
All right. So let's go through this one.
And if the appointment happened, was it qualified? This is something that we need to know because our INSAs only get compensated if it was a qualified appointment. What was the outcome? Say it's a likely opportunity. Contact stage. So this is what's going to update the stage in both Follow Boss and Salesforce. This is when I talked about where we have field dependencies or validation rules. This is a required field for us in Salesforce because it drives a bunch of dashboards and reports, as well as the notes to the post appointments.
I like it. Easy.
All right. I'm back here. Just a second. So there's the dispositional, comes in pretty quickly, and there the stage changed.
And if you notice up on the appointment, the outcome was added to the appointment.
Yes, see that. Nice.
And the deal was updated to appointment met.
Easy.
Salesforce, quick refresh, it should be there.
Yeah, I don't think the majority of us use Salesforce, so it's just I'm just concerned with the follow-up boss one. That's my jam. So a couple questions here.
Mhm.
Julianne says, love that it's customizable. Is it difficult to customize? Is it pretty easy?
Yeah, so we handle all the customization for them right now. So we have like intake forms that allow you to explain how you want the setup done. And then we just go off the intake forms and do the setup for you. We will eventually have a drag and drop interface that'll allow them to do the customization themselves. We're not quite there yet. But yeah,
All right. I like that.
and then again, same thing with this form. Anything in Follow Boss can be updated. So you can update the stage, update the tags, trigger action plans, pause action plans, and on the disposition form, there's also a reschedule functionality, and that will actually reschedule the appointment and reschedule the disposition text. So it'll come at the new appropriate time.
All right, and then if somebody wants to brand it, they're like you did for the beer team there previously.
Yeah.
Do we send everything to you? You customize it for us? Is that what it looks like?
Yeah, exactly. So we typically just pull the logo off the website for teams that want like a branded form, and then match.
Dan, I feel like you streamline this for us. You make using this easier. I mean, it's already easy to use Follow a Boss.
Yeah.
But dude, you just made it so much easier. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Steps.
Yeah. So like the idea is, I mean, Follow Boss by far is the easiest CRM for agents to use. Like that's why agents actually use it, because it's super intuitive. But that being said, there's still like a lot of stuff that needs to happen at these different stages of a transaction, and they're just never going to remember all the stuff that you want done. Like,
yeah.
If, when you set an appointment, if it's a buyer, do this action plan. And if it's a seller, do this action plan. They're never going to remember that. It's just never going to happen. But they can remember to fill out a form. And then the form can be programmed to do everything that needs to be done in Follow Boss. So, it really does simplify things. It makes it so you can collect specific data points from your agents at the different stages. You can't do that in Follow Boss. There's custom fields, but they're never going to remember the 3 custom fields that they need to populate after an appointment. But we can require it on the appointment form and feed it into the custom fields. So we just customize Follow Boss the way you want it set up.
I think more importantly, we want our agents to focus on the things that they're great at. And that's building the relationships, not freaking checking boxes, man. And I think you simplify the whole process for us. So thank you for that. Yeah, Julianne says the same thing. I just looked at the comments. Yep. Exactly, Julianne. That's it. Yeah. Great comment.
And then so the next step,
what else you got?
The next step would be the agreement signed. So this is like buyer broker agreements or listing agreements.
Can you scroll down a little so we can see that full box?
Yeah. And then so now we're at agreement signed. So we did buyer. So this would be, we signed a buyer broker agreement. And so see how we're pre-populating fields. So that buyer Salesforce op key, we've pre-populated that. And that's how we're syncing data to other systems. So if you're using CSU, we're pre-populating the CSU transaction ID. And that's how our system is a lot more reliable than if you're using like a Zapier or another platform to do your integrations. Most of those are using search and update functionality. So they're searching for contact info. And if they find it, they update it. And if they don't find it, they create a new one. And that's a glitchy, buggy type of setup. So what we do is we store all the keys to all the different systems in an internal database. So then we can access all of that and go to specific transactions to update them. So Salesforce, we're updating the specific opportunity. And CSU, we're updating the specific transaction, open to close, a specific property. So our system's not going to create a bunch of random duplicates.
Dude, I see probably an admin coming in and using this for the team, right? So that they can just be in charge of managing this for the whole team, or for even a small team. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, some teams have admin do it, some teams have agents do it. One thing that I'll say is what I've noticed about the teams that are doing the most transactions is they have their agent do it.
No, I mean the one who's in charge of making sure this flows right with you.
Oh yeah, that's
point of contact. Yeah, your point of contact is going to be the admin.
Okay, so Laura, let's see. So we did a stage. We updated the stage to showing homes. Now you can see the deal is at buyer contract.
Love it.
The transaction form entry note was added. So all the content that was added as a note. And it's fully customizable for each team. So,
Nice.
What they want to have happen in Follow Boss, every team's going to want different stuff to have happen. We can set it up however they want.
All right. So how do people get a hold of you if they want to try this out for Follow Boss?
All right. Can I walk through the automation builder that we're setting up really quick?
Oh, dude, heck yeah. Go.
All right. So the idea behind this is there's a lot of webhooks that can be triggered in Follow Boss, but it's really challenging for teams to figure out how to do that. Zapier is limited on what triggers you can have. Follow Boss automation is limited on what triggers you can have. And so what we want to do is open up all of Follow Boss webhooks to, Follow Boss users so they can, do what they want from all the different possibilities. So we're going to start off with calls. So you can easily create a call webhook for our system. And then, let's see. So call created is the trigger we want to set up. And so now we're going to create trigger. And so now this is going to generate a call webhook in your Follow Boss account. And so now that that's done, now we want to create a new workflow. So we have a calls created workflow. And now you just name the workflow. And then now this is where you set up the workflow. So, you test the webhook, make sure it's working, and now you get your data related to the call. Now we can set up filters. So we can do, the call user, the call duration, whether it's an incoming call, what the outcome was, whether it's a note. So now if we do call user, we could do equals, the assigned agent, a collaborator or a lender. So now let's say it's the assigned agent.
Okay.
And so now we have a call that happened by the assigned agent. And so now we can trigger, these are some actions that we're going to build in later, but to start, we're doing apply a tag. So the benefit of applying tags, now you can have calls as a trigger in Follow Boss automation, where before that wasn't an option.
It just built out Zapier for Follow Boss. It's specifically for Follow Boss. It's beautiful.
And with populate custom fields, now you can do really granular smart lists. So instead of having last activity, you can have a last assigned agent call and have smart lists built on when the assigned agent did their last call. Because the way it works now in Follow Boss is if a collaborator makes the call, it's going to drop them off the smart list. But you want your agent to be following up every week. So if you have a weekly smart list where the agent is supposed to call every week, now they're going to be the ones that have to call every week, and it's not going to drop off that list when a collaborator or a lender makes the call.
Now it is. Dude, this is nice.
Yeah, so
have you shown this to Dan Corkle?
Yeah, we well, I don't think this far, but he's seen the initial at FootCon. We had people vote on what we were going to build. And so this was the result. This is what they wanted. And so we have, we're going to do a mastermind group to have people on to kind of guide the direction of this product. And then we're also doing preset or signups to beta test. And so that is the link that I'm going to provide. Yeah, so I mean, it'll be free during beta. And once it's up and running in our platform, you'll just have access to be able to create flows from, first it'll be calls, and then we're going to just go one by one, add a different webhook in as quickly as possible, and add different actions. So first it's going to be like follow boss automation, but then we're going to build in like Slack notifications. So if you want to do like Slack notifications off of anything that happens in follow boss, the long-term plan is to connect it to a database within Amazon Web Services, so teams can connect like business intelligence platforms to all of their follow boss data and build, whatever reports they want. So yeah, we're going to build some cool stuff.
I love it, man. Well, Dan, Laura, thanks for being on today. We appreciate you. If we have any questions, how do we get a hold of you?
Interface.re is our website. And then you can just Daniel@interface.re.
And then if you have any questions, you can get a hold of Daniel and check out what he's built already. And I'm sure Laura's involved heavily on there as well. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.